I know it's hard to believe, but after years of people telling me I should start melting silver, I got a furnace. So like I said, a lot of you have been asking me to get into silver melting for some time. So when this company ToAuto reached out to me and asked me if they could send me a furnace, if I would review it, I thought about it for a while and I said yes. But that wasn't the whole story. There was a lot of things that I needed to get in place to be able to use this thing. I've been using it for a few days now. I've done a couple of melts, and I wanted to share with you one of the melts that I have done, and you guys can kind of see what it's like for someone who's literally never done this until this week. Well, really last Saturday's when I picked it up. So Sunday was the first time. You can kind of go through the process with me of seeing what it's like for someone who's never melted before, just a couple of days in, and how it's going so far. We're going to share one of my first melts. Let's get into it. Hey, real quick, I want to remind you not to forget to check and make sure you are subscribed. We are almost to 100K when we give all of this silver and gold away to our awesome subscribers. For this first part, I'm going to just hold my phone. I apologize. Normally, I have it on a tripod, but I just kind of want to show you what we have here. So this is what ToAuto sent me. This is their smelter furnace. I'll put a link in the description below if you want to take a look at it. It's pretty cool. As you can see, we go around here. It has like this mesh pattern on the side, and then there's a handle right here that you open it up with. Again, I'm not used to using a phone to record. This will be my third time firing it up. So the first time, it actually came with this mold right here. And I melted a few 1-ounce rounds, and I poured them into this. It turned out poorly. It's really small. I figure it's just like a practice mold, so whatever. I ordered this on Amazon, and these were my second time firing it up. And as you can see, we have some pretty cool pours. So let's start by turning this thing on. And as you can see, we have 1150 max temperature. We have it set for 11. It's already at 150C because I'll be honest, I'm re-recording this part. I already had it on for the first time. So it's already at 150C. We have some silver here that we are going to be melting. We have some 1-ounce rounds, a couple of junk bars. And then these are my two pours that did not turn out so well last time I melted. So we're going to throw those back in there as well, get it all melted down. Let's get the silver in there, and then we'll talk some more about what came with this furnace right here. Okay, so what I'm doing right here, generally you don't want to drop the silver directly into the furnace like that, but I'm doing it just for the sake of the fact that I only have one hand right now. And the furnace, you know, the crucible is not very hot yet. 150 Celsius is not super hot for that thing, especially since it can handle 1150 degrees. So we have all the silver in there. It's going to heat up. It's at 156 now. So just a really quick overview. Like I said, these are the ones I poured yesterday. And, we poured 7. 5 of them turned out pretty decent. Put some stamps on the back. And then what came with it besides that was we got a pair of safety fire gloves. I actually have another pair that I already had because I had thought about doing this in the past, and I started ordering some stuff and then never went through with it. This really is my first time. This is a smaller crucible that I haven't used yet, which I'm sure I will eventually need because these crucibles supposedly for this temperature only, last 10 to 15 times, sometimes 20. You should really be safe and replace it from what I've read after, 10 to 15 uses. And then we have, this came with it as well, as did a pair of crucible tongs. And that's pretty much it. Like you get the furnace, you get the 2 crucibles, the bigger one and the smaller one, you get the tongs, you get a little practice thing right there. I went out and I bought, obviously, some safety glasses because if the metal does splatter, you don't want it getting in your eyes. Getting burned, any of that on you is going to be horrible. Could end up in the hospital. This is very dangerous, but I would rather, end up in the hospital with severe burns than lose my eyes. So the metal splatters on this, it's going to melt through that glass immediately, but it won't hit your eye. You can take them off really fast, get the hell out of there. But that is basically what we have. So I didn't actually have anywhere to set this up. So I went out and bought this stainless steel table. Then I went out and bought some of these ceramic tiles right here. And what I didn't realize when I was pouring for the first time is that the heat from the molten metal will crack these things immediately. Even like if it's in the crucible, it's going to crack the ceramic tile. So I went back to Home Depot and I bought a cinder block right here, which, will do perfectly fine for pouring on. We don't have to worry about if it's going to crack any of the tiles anymore. So I went and got that. We have our quench bowl right here ready to go for when we pour the metal. And then we have our tongs to pull it out. We're going to put on our gloves. We're going to put on our safety goggles. And we're just going to be as careful as possible. Oh, I had the scale out because I was going to weigh everything that I put into the crucible so I knew how much I was working with, and I totally forgot to do that. Another thing we have here is a torch. because one of the things I've learned through watching videos on how to do this and reading instructions is that you definitely want to keep your molds super hot, because any moisture at all in the mold, the moisture is going to evaporate and it's going to try and escape through the molten metal, and that's what will make it pop in your face and all over your arms. And so you just don't want that to happen. So you want to make sure these are heated up nice and hot. But yeah, that's about it. I picked up some punches off of Amazon so we can punch the numbers on them. And then who knows, maybe in the future I'll go ahead and get myself, a custom punch with my logo on it. But that is for future. This is literally only the third time I've ever done any melting at all. So we're at, what are we at? 230 Celsius. This is the first time ever that I've ever used one of these. So we'll see how it goes as time goes on. But let's go ahead and let this thing heat up to 1100 degrees. I'm going to get a tripod so we can set this on so you can kind of watch what's going on as we go through the process. Let's do it. All right, so we are about there, guys. We are at 1079 degrees Celsius. We are going to start off by getting the torch out. We're just going to heat this thing up. We're going to heat up the area around it on the block. And this is important. Like I said, you can actually see the moisture evaporating off of the mold. You just want to get it nice and hot. Get the area around it nice and hot as well. Because, again, you don't want that moisture escaping through the metal when you're pouring. So that should be plenty. We have ourselves a nice hot mold here. I got the gloves on. We're going to open it up. You can see that this thing is red hot. And let's go ahead and grab it. So we're going to grip it nice and tight and lift it out. Oh, look at that. And we have a lot of silver in here. I actually added 5 more ounces. And we'll just pour it slowly into. All right, there we go. Let's get that back in there for now. Close it back up. You can see it dropped a few degrees, but that is not a big deal. We're going to grab our mold right here. We're just going to get it out just like that. Now we're going to get it over into the quenching bowl. There we go. And you can hear it. Man, that is crazy how hot that gets. All right, so here we go. Camera's a little bit closer. We are sitting at 1054 degrees, still plenty of heat. And here we go. We should be able to pour 6 or 7 of these. Oh, that one hit nice. Let's bump it. Get a little ripple there. I bumped it with the crucible. I don't know if I should have did that or not. All right, but you can see it's still nice and red right here. And we should be. Oh, yeah, look at that, guys. Oh, my goodness, that is pretty. All right. I love that sound. Let's do another one. We are sitting at 1042 degrees. The temperature keeps going down because I keep taking it in and out. So what I would like to do is get multiple molds so I can just pour like 4 or 5 at one time instead of taking the mold or taking the crucible in and out. Get a little bump there. There we go. Because I don't like taking the crucible in and out very much. It obviously it slows down the process. We're moving in and out all the time. So hopefully when I get some more molds, and maybe when I do some sand casting, because I do plan on doing some sand casting now that I have a way to melt the silver in the first place, we'll have a good way to do that. All right, let's see what we have left. So we have 12 ounces there so far. We got to be getting close to the bottom. We're at 1023 degrees Celsius. The crucible is definitely lighter. And we have a whole nother pour there. I'm not going to bump this one. I don't want this one to spill over. This table, oh man. You know what I wonder, guys? This table just wobbles just a little bit. I wonder if I just bump the table when I pour it. That may be all it needs to get a really cool ripple effect. All right, let's get this out. That one came out okay. Okay, so we're going to cut to the end here, and there's a reason I don't record with phones. I had a lot of issues with some of the footage recording with my phone, and there's a reason that I generally just use cameras. So for future pours, I will use my cameras instead of the phone, but I gave it a shot so I wouldn't have to move my cameras around. Anyway, let's talk about the pours. This is the important part. So these 5 up here are the ones that I poured in my first pour. Now I had a few of these that messed up as well. One thing I noticed between my first pours and my second, well, this is technically the 3rd time pouring, but the first time I poured these and the second time I poured these is these on top came out quite a bit cleaner. You'll see if you look like in the top of the skull on this one, there's a lot of pitting and things like that. And then on the reverse of a lot of these, you have little brown spots, which I believe are basically impurities that float to the top. I don't know if that's coming off of the crucible as the crucible wears down or whatever it is, but I'll get a Dremel and I'll buff that out. It won't be a big deal. But, you know, our first 5 that we poured, this right here had that crack in the skull I thought was really cool. These are the 8 that we poured today. So I'm going to keep the majority of these. I think like this one right here, I'm just going to remelt. I just don't like the look of that. This one right here, we didn't pour enough and it didn't actually pour out the jaw line here. So it kind of looks like he's missing part of his jaw, but we're going to re-pour that one. And then we'll probably re-pour this one as well. And then looking at these, I'll go ahead and keep these 5. They're good enough. We'll take a look. This one's not too bad. We have to weigh these out. We're going to polish them up, like I said, with the Dremel. But, you know, they don't look too bad at all. So this one actually is my favorite one. This one came out really nice. And then if you flip it onto the reverse, it has really good ripples too. This is where I learned that bumping into the table right as I pour created a really good ripple line. That's what we have right there. So let's go ahead and weigh them. We'll put this one on right here. This first one, we have 2.080 ounces. I will have to go ahead and stamp these up. Our second one, we have 2.29 ounces. Our third one, we have 2.705 ounces. Our fourth one, we have 2.14 ounces. These are way different. Oh, you can see why this one has a much thicker back. Like this one kind of should have probably spilled over, but it didn't. And then 2.105 or 2.10 ounces. So that is the 5 we're going to keep out of that, which gives us 10 skulls. I'm going to go ahead and remelt these 3 down along with the little bit of extra that we had at the end of the at the end of the pour there, and we will use those for a future mold, maybe some 3D sand casting. A lot more stuff that I want to do. So some of the things I learned is that we need to, I guess somehow like make sure there's nothing in the crucible, clean out the crucible, whatever dust or whatever is in there before we do our second set of pouring. And I will look online. And then obviously probably need to get some borax in there as well to help clean that up. So we'll do that for future pours. But I think these 5 turned out great. Other than that, it's went really well. I mean, I'll be honest, guys, I didn't know how easy this was going to be, and it really wasn't that bad. Although ToAuto did send me the furnace, I did have to invest my own money into getting all the other stuff that I needed for the setup because I didn't have a proper workbench for it or anything like that. So definitely some investment here for me, plus melting down some 1-ounce Buffalo rounds, you know, into who knows what it's going to be. But either way, I think they're cool. We'll figure out what we're going to do with them from here on out. And then I'm going to get some more molds. And I'm going to do some 3D sand casting as well. And we'll do future videos on that. Let me know if you guys like this video. I know it's probably not my best produced video. I'm not generally someone who pours silver, so this is kind of a new thing for me, but hopefully you guys like the content, and if you did, let me know down below. Guys, do me a favor, don't forget to subscribe. I'm going to put a video up above me that I want you guys to check out now. If you haven't seen it yet, click that and watch it. I look forward to seeing you guys in the next one. Thank you so much for watching.